welcome back to the channel. Rob here with RK Motorsports, and today we are going to be converting this 2007 Daytona 675 track bike back to stock so we can ride it on the street. So some of you may be asking this question right now: why exactly can't this bike be ridden on the street as it is right now? Why can't you ride a track bike on public roads? So the main reason for this is because when people convert stock bikes, stock street bikes to track, there's a number of things that get deleted, eliminated, taken off of those bikes in order to make them compliant with riding on the track. And I'm gonna go over a few of those things right now with you so you can get a better understanding of what we need to do to this bike in order to convert it back to street. So this is a 2007 Triumph Daytona 675 track bike. Now, in order for me to convert it back to street, a number of things are going to have to be done to this bike to make it road compliant. So the first main difference between track bikes and street bikes, this track bike currently has a fiberglass set of fairings on it. And these fairings are usually larger single pieces that cover like the whole front end. You can see that we've got these quick detach pins right here. And also these fairings do not have holes for the headlights. So this bike currently does not even have any headlights in here. It's all open. And the reason for that is, you know, if you're riding on the track and if you crash, then you have, you know, the broken plastic, broken glass on the track. That leaves more to clean up. So a lot of the times guys will just eliminate and remove those headlights from their bikes. That way they don't have to worry about either taping off their lenses or something along those lines. So we've got the fiberglass fairings. We don't have a set of headlights on here. So we're gonna need to get headlights for this bike in order to make it street legal. Another thing that is also done to track bikes that we are gonna need to add, even with the tail, you know, we've got the fiberglass tail on the back. There's no opening for a tail light. So legally, we need to have turn signals, brake lights in the rear, and we can't really do that with this set of fairings on right now. The same thing kind of goes along with the front. We need our turn signals on the left and right in the front of the bike. Currently, these track fairings do not have an opening cut out for the turn signals, but I do have a stock set of fairings that does have those, so we can get our turn signals installed on the bike. Another thing is we don't have any opening for mirrors, so we need to install our rear view mirrors on the front of the bike also. We're also going to need that in order to make it street legal. And one other thing that we're going to need to change on this bike in order to make it more safe and convenient is we need to install a kickstand on the bike. Currently, we do not have any kickstand on this bike. Usually it would mount right here. For some tracks, they need to be either tied up or safety wired in the up position. That way, you know, when you're going around, it doesn't drop down and kick out. I'm not 100% sure on the reasoning behind it, but it's kind of something along those lines. So we're gonna need to install our kickstand back on the bike so we can put this thing on a kickstand and we don't have to put it on a rear stand every time we want to get off the bike. So those are really the only things that we're gonna have to do to this bike in order to make it street legal. We have to put our lights on in running order. We have to have mirrors, headlights, all those things. But now let's kind of go around this bike and take more of a damage assessment and see some of the other things that might need to be replaced in order to get this thing in tip-top shape. So I was checking this bike out a little bit. We do have a little bit of rash on the end of the handlebar there, a little bit of rash on the frame slider. And really, I'm not too concerned about these two pieces just because, you know, these are pretty much replaceable. But I was really worried about, you know, any damage to the cases, but it looks like everything is pretty much untouched back here. We do have the Jardine carbon fiber exhaust, and you can kind of see it's kind of safety wired, kind of wired up here in the back. We do have a little bit of damage. It looks like where the rivets were holding this end cap onto the exhaust, look like those kind of ripped through, and we just got this kind of wired in place in order for it to not fall out right now. Tire tread is also good on front and rear tires, so that is a nice sign to see. Do not have to worry about getting new tires for this bike. We do have a little bit of rash. You can see this bike was laid down at one time. We've got some rash on there, some scratches on the side fairing here, and a little bit on the tail. Now, I'm not too worried about the fairings for this part of the bike because we do have a brand new set of OEM fairings in this box. I actually got this box of parts when I bought this bike, so that was a nice bonus. Basically, my plan of attack right now is to take the track fairings off of this bike, strip the bike down, get those fairings on this bike, and then that will get us set up pretty much 90% of the way in order to ride this thing on the street. And a couple extra goodies we have on this bike also, we have some CRG levers on the clutch side and front brake side. Also have a GPR steering stabilizer, and the best part of all, this bike actually runs. So let's try this out. Starts right up, runs like a champ. There's like 29,300 miles on the odometer, but you know, this thing runs super smooth. I believe there was a new engine put in this also. I do have the old engine that was also included with the bike. Let's start stripping this bike down and get our new set of plastics installed on this bike. And just like that, it was only those 3 pieces that we had to take off the bike in order to get it completely stripped down. We have the front nose piece, we've got the tail piece, and we have the belly pan piece. And now with the belly pan, you can see we kind of have some water stuck in there. And the purpose of that is because when you're on the track, the belly pan is going to kind of act as like a catch can. If you're leaking fluids, oil, coolant, anything like that, the belly pan is going to catch that. So that's why we have some water left in there. But we also noticed when we took that off, I had this little drop of oil down here, and I kind of followed it up, and it looked like it was coming from this little spot right here. So I'm following that up, kind of finding the source of where that's coming from, follow that. And sure enough, we have another, little drip right there. You know, just checking out some of these lines. Looks like we have our clutch cable is a little bit melted here from rubbing up against the exhaust. That's not good, so we can reroute that, tuck that out of the way. But other than that, it looks like other than that little oil leak, we don't really have too many other issues with this bike. All right, so what I just noticed is I was gonna take these bolts off of the side cover so that I can inspect the gasket to see if I actually do need to install a new one. And when I started to undo this bolt, it was actually already loose. So let me see if I can just tighten this up, and let's see if that leak goes away, because with a loose bolt, that's pressure off the gasket, and that means oil can drip down. So I'm just gonna try and tighten this up, and hopefully we should be golden. So I've got these bolts all tightened up now. I'm just gonna keep an eye on this, make sure it does not drip anymore. If it does drip anymore, then I will go ahead and replace that gasket that is behind this cover, but I think we should just be good with tightening up that bolt. Now real quick, I'm just gonna check the coolant level on this. Oh, looks like we are a little bit low. Yeah, I don't see any coolant in there. So I am going to have to flush and fill the system. So I will be sure that we do that when we go over this bike. And if you guys are wondering why there's all this dust on the underside of the seat, it's because the guy that I picked this up from, he had like a wood shop in his garage, and the bike was sitting in the garage. So just all the dust from that wood shop, all those wood shavings, all that sawdust, just kind of floated and made its way through the bike. So we're gonna clean this up in the future and get that all nice and clean. Let's take a look at the box of fairings that we got with the purchase of this bike, and let's see if we have everything to convert this bike back to street. So right on top here, we have the tail, still in very good shape. A couple little scratches here and there, but definitely usable. We've got our left side fairing here, still in amazing shape. Our right side fairing, no visible scratches or damage to that one too. We have got nice little rear seat cowl. We can definitely use that for on that part of the tail. What do we got here? Oh, nice. We got a carbon fiber OEM Triumph front fender. I believe there is a fender. Let's double check this. We do have the fender on the bike right now. Yeah, I think this is just a fiberglass one. We'll pop that off. We'll throw that carbon fiber front fender on just because that one looks a lot nicer. What is this? Just nothing. Throw that over there. Oh, we got another seat. Nice. So we can kind of switch back and forth if we want the seat or the rear cowl. We've got this box here. What is in here? We've got, looks like an extra side case cover. Miscellaneous bolts. I don't know what that is. Another case cover and some hoses and coil packs. So I don't think we're going to be needing any of those parts. We have another seat, I guess, in case we need another seat. We've got another empty box. We have our front with the headlight. That's awesome. No damage to that either, so that is going to be a nice quick replacement. Awesome. We have our tail light also. I think we're going to have most of the parts to convert this back to stock included with this box of miscellaneous parts that we got. Some more trim pieces. Got our passenger pegs. Man, we got everything with this bike. Empty bag. More trim pieces. Man, we got so much. Mirror. All right, we don't have to order any mirrors now. Other passenger peg. What else we got? More trim pieces. My God, it keeps coming. Roll of paper towels. Nice. I can definitely use that. There's our other mirror. And I think that's going to be pretty much it. Yeah, that looks like pretty much it for that box. So we have a lot of parts here. We've got our fairings, headlight, tail light. The only thing, actually, yeah, we've got our turn signals here. Looks like this one's broken. Might be able to salvage that one. Now, one other thing that I did notice that we are going to need is the left-hand control switch, which controls like the high beam, low beam, the horn, and the turn signal functions. Now, because this is a track bike and the headlight and turn signals were not on the bike, that is why that is not on here right now. There was no need for it, so that's why it was removed. So I did just order a new control for the left handlebar, and I also ordered a new kickstand, so it should be probably about another week until those parts come in. Until we wait for those other parts to come in, I will see you guys in the next episode. And in the meantime, feel free to check out either one of these other videos from the channel. I appreciate the support, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.